On July 16, 2019, a headline rocked the nation. Esther Arunga faces 25 years in prison. This wasn't the first time Esther made headlines, but this time it was different. It was a stark contrast to her unforgettable glory days, a reminder of how far she had fallen from grace. From Kenyan media darling with a bright future to facing prison time in a foreign land 10,000 kilometers away from home. This is the incredible and tragic story of Esther Arunga. Before we get started, I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has subscribed and helped us reach 1,000 subscribers. The next milestone is 10,000, so if you haven't already, make sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button. Without any further ado, let's get started. Esther Arunga was born one of 7 children in a large family. Her parents, Petroline and Robert Arunga, raised her in the Seventh-day Adventist faith, instilling strict Christian values from an early age. Esther's father also had political connections to ODM, but more on that later. Esther's path to success started at Kenya High School, where she excelled, laying a strong foundation for her future. This exceptional performance secured her a coveted spot at the prestigious University of Wollongong in Australia. There, she tackled a demanding double major, earning bachelor's degrees in communication and law. Upon returning to Kenya, Esther's intellectual drive remained unquenched. She enrolled in a 1-year program at the Kenya School of Law, further honing her legal skills. Her dedication culminated in her admission to the Nairobi Bar in 2009, a moment of immense pride for both Esther and her parents. Esther's professional journey began in the media industry, where she quickly made a name for herself. Her first role was at Capital FM, where she showcased her talents as a host for the Saturday morning rock show. However, it was her transition to television that would catapult her to stardom.
By President Mwai Kibaki and Prime Minister designate Raila Odinga yesterday. Here now is that list proposed by the Party of National Unity.
Unlike the scripted stiffness of many new anchors, Esther's delivery was conversational and engaging. Esther's talent didn't go unnoticed. In 2008, she won the Chaguo Latinese Awards for Best Television News Anchor. This accolade marked the beginning of a meteoric rise in Kenyan media. Esther's trajectory seemed unstoppable. She rose through the ranks at KTN, transitioning from a business news reader to the primetime news anchor position at 9 p.m. She had the complete package: beauty, brains, and a career on an upward trajectory. In 2009, Esther's life took an unexpected turn when she publicly became involved with the controversial Finger of God Church. This church, now rebranded as Kingdom Embassy International Church, was founded by Joseph Hellon, Esther's cousin. Hellon, a famous jazz musician and saxophone player, had gained additional prominence as a musical director of Tusker Project Fame Season 3, a very popular Kenyan TV show back in the day. It was during this time that Hellon's influence on Esther's life began to grow significantly. Esther became deeply involved with the Finger of God Church, where Joseph Hellon served as both her spiritual guide and business partner. Hellon also took on the role of Esther's career advisor, crediting himself with influencing various aspects of her media success.
I had gave her the advice, helped us with accent and how to pronounce words correctly and how to dress the right way. Helped her even with weight loss. Those days they wanted all these skinny news anchors, you know.
His association with Esther reportedly attracted other media personalities to join his church. But little did Esther know this relationship with the Finger of God Church would set her on a path that would lead to heartbreak and scandal. It was during this period that Quincy TImberlake entered the picture. setting in motion a series of events that would dramatically alter Esther's life. Quincy contacted Hellon via Facebook, claiming to be in the United States and expressing interest in collaborating on music projects. Hellon, excited to reconnect with his childhood friend from Migori County, was unaware of the deception that lay ahead. In a surprising turn of events, Quincy, who had initially presented himself as a music collaborator, revealed his desire to become a believer and join the Finger of God Church. He confessed to Hellon about his dark pasts, including practicing witchcraft to harm and take advantage of people. In hindsight, Hellon believed that Quincy used these dark arts to make Esther fall blindly in love with him.
Quincy was not only manipulative but used witchcraft, black magic.
As Esther became more involved with the Finger of God Church, her personal life took a complicated turn. She was engaged to Wilson Malaba, an elder of the church, but in early 2010, she called off the wedding engagement and moved out of her parents' house to live in the church-owned mansion with Hellon and a number of other church members. When Wilson met Quincy, he was put off by Quincy's poorly groomed appearance and boastful personality.
Fearless, doubtless, appearless, apestixiless, and doigmless.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Unbeknownst to Wilson, Quincy's influence on Esther was growing stronger. 2 months before their scheduled wedding, Wilson received a shocking text from Esther, accusing him of adultery and instructing him to cease contact. Simultaneously, Hellon informed Wilson that he had been excommunicated from the church on allegations of being a Freemason.
And that's where Wilson Malaba comes in. Wilson Malaba is the man I was engaged to marry. They came to church, they fellowshiped with us, they were part of the ministry, but they were Freemasons.
Before his involvement with Esther, Quincy was already married to Rose Mweni Mutua for more than 10 years, and they had 3 sons. In 2010, Rose's world would be shattered when she discovered via news sources that Quincy had married Esther Arunga.
I am legally married to Quincy TImberlake.
Quincy allegedly cut ties with Rose and their 3 sons, leaving her to struggle to make ends meet. In 2010, Esther Arunga threw a curveball alongside Quincy TImberlake and Joseph Hellon. She unveiled the Placenta Party, the Platinum, Centralizer, and Unionist Party of Kenya. This audacious political venture saw Quincy as chairman, Hellon as the presidential hopeful, and Esther vying for both the Karachuonyo constituency seat and the vice presidency. Esther's unexpected transition from news anchor to politician stunned everyone. Adding fuel to the fire, Esther abruptly quit her prestigious KTN job, leaving family and fans reeling. Esther, once a media darling, now faced intense backlash and skepticism as many of her decisions were questionable, to say the least. On February 22nd, Esther Arunga and her husband Quincy TImberlake, along with Joseph Hellon, were arrested at the Finger of God Church. The arrest was based on allegations of operating an unregistered association and engaging in cult-like activities. Following their arrest, Quincy TImberlake faced immigration issues.
And this is because we're going to be suing some top government officials who have been compromised by my father.
According to some sources, Esther's father used his ODM connections to influence the arrest of Quincy, leveraging the late ODM member and Minister of State for Immigration and Registration of Persons, the late Otieno Kajwang. Esther's behavior raised concerns about her mental well-being, and her family had her admitted to a mental health facility. After her release, she sought to sue her parents and authorities for what she considered an unfair arrest and treatment of her and her husband, claiming damages of 300 million shillings, but she later dropped the lawsuit. People began to speculate that she was losing her mind. However, Esther confirmed that she knew exactly what she was doing and was in the right state of mind.
I am still fully sane. I was put back on trial. The state would not have tried me if they thought my mind was not whole or fine.
In 2012, Esther and Quincy TImberlake, feeling unsafe in Kenya, sought asylum in Australia. Their journey took them through Dubai before they finally settled in Brisbane, Queensland. In Australia, Esther reinvented herself, acquiring Australian citizenship, and by July 2012, she was practicing as a barrister at the New South Wales Supreme Court. Though life in the new country felt unfamiliar, a sense of stability was starting to take root. Unfortunately, this newfound peace was soon shattered. Tragedy struck in June 2014 when their eldest son, Sinclair TImberlake, died following an apparent accident at their home. The initial explanation was a fall down the stairs, but further investigation uncovered a more disturbing reality. In September 2014, Quincy TImberlake was charged with Sinclair's murder. He pleaded not guilty, but the details that emerged were harrowing. Esther found herself entangled in the legal battle and was charged as an accessory after the fact to her son's manslaughter. Esther admitted to lying to the police about the circumstances that led to her son's death, initially claiming he had fallen down the stairs while playing with his sister. However, autopsy examination results indicated that Sinclair had died due to severe blunt force trauma. During the trial, Esther corroborated the autopsy findings, explaining how she walked into their bathroom to find her husband hitting Sinclair in the stomach, throwing him against the wall to remove the devil he believed was inside the little boy. The Brisbane Supreme Court sentenced Esther to 10 months for her role as an accessory to the manslaughter of her son, but she was immediately released on parole. Justice Burns highlighted cultural considerations, stating that Esther demonstrated a real sense of obligation to her husband and acknowledged that the shock of her son's death likely contributed to her making untrue statements at the time of the incident. The judge recognized her tragic circumstances and noted her cooperation with authorities, which led to a reduced sentence. This moment marked a poignant chapter in her life, reflecting her dramatic fall from a celebrated media personality to a mother entangled in a legal and personal nightmare. Esther is still in Australia, having changed her name to Chrysler Providence TImberlake. The events of Esther Arunga's life unfolded like a tragic play. Gifted and adored, she soared to media fame only to descend into a personal and legal nightmare. Her story serves as a stark reminder that blind trust can lead to devastating consequences. While Quincy TImberlake likely faces imprisonment and Joseph Hellon continues to run his church, Esther emerges as the greatest casualty in this drama, grappling with the scars of her past as she seeks to rebuild her life anew. From the information available, she is still in Australia with her 2 daughters. Thanks for watching.